Welcome to the Michele Roys Show.
Hello and welcome to another Michele Roy podcast. We are today so delighted to have a special guest. So Tiffany Childers is a speaker, author, and suicide loss advocate who turns unimaginable loss into conversations about resilience, identity, and rebuilding your life after everything falls apart. After losing both parents to suicide and later facing chronic pain that nearly broke her, she wrote the book The Rise Back, Reclaiming Life After Suicide, Loss, Pain, and Silence, and now speaks to the audience about what it really takes to stop surviving and start living again. Tiffany, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here. I adore you.
Oh, I really, I was so blessed to have met you there at
Yeah.
Amberley Lagos event that we had. And I am so stoked of having you here and speaking, even though it's a very challenging topic, I have to say. I think for my listeners, it's always good for us to bring in things that we don't usually like to talk. It's kind of taboo. So if you can just give us a little bit about yourself and yes, open up for that.
So this has been about 18 years ago, but I lost my mom to suicide. And then 1 year and 5 days later, I lost my dad as well to suicide. So that back then, we didn't have any support groups. We didn't have any information. We didn't have the internet or anything back then. So I did what I knew what to do, and that was just shove everything down and just keep going. So I had two small kids and a marriage to keep together, and it was tragic. It was tragic, but I shoved everything down, went on with life, and years later, about a year ago, I think all that emotional pain that I'd shoved down for years came out as physical pain,
Mm,
and I ended up with something called complex regional pain syndrome after a hip surgery that I am still dealing with. And
mm.
it's been very interesting. But I think all the emotional pain that I had shoved down for so many years is coming out physically in my body.
Yeah. And just for our listeners, this complex regional pain syndrome is also one of the worst pain imaginable. It's also nerve pain. So it's on the highest as well on the scale. So it's not an easy thing at all to deal with. And to top it off, so if you bring it back there, the loss, and so many of us, when we go through something so tragic, we just pull away from everything and just mind over matter, right? And you
Mhm.
said like for 18 years, you just shove it up, keep going,
Mhm.
very strong type A personality. Right? I
Mhm.
can see, right? And just keep pushing through.
Yeah.
And in your book, and this is the beautiful book, I really, I'm going to be putting this in the show note, The Rise Back. Tiffany, you open up so much about how challenging it was to deal with suicide and the loss. Like, I can't even fathom that. But if you can speak to, I know you do a lot of work right now around advocacy for that, and you're there for people when they lose a loved one. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you help other people and how people can also find help, instead of just shoving that part down as well?
Mhm. So I'm part of what's called the Loss Team, and it's a local outreach to suicide survivors. And so you can look up on loss.com and see if there's one in your area. I don't know about where you are at, Michelle, but
Yeah.
here in the United States. So it's basically the ministry of presence. We are called on scene to a suicide loss. And within 15 minutes, we have two people there, a survivor like me of a suicide loss, and then a mental health professional. And of course, the police officers and everything are there. But we're basically, the deeper the pain, the fewer words you use. It's called the ministry of presence. And we are just there to say, I've been there, I've done that. What do you need? It could be something as simple as letting the dogs out if the dogs are going crazy, or, I've held babies and fed babies while mom is trying to deal with everything in the police officers. We give them how to write an obituary. We give them local support groups that they can come to. So basically, we're trying to get seeking help for a suicide loss survivor for those left behind from 4 years to 4 months.
Mm.
So we want to give them all the information that they could possibly need to get help because
Okay.
there is such a stigma behind it. And it's just different.
Mm.
I mean, it's just such a profound loss that you want to find your people. And you want to find others that have been there, that have done that, that have walked the path and understand what you're going through.
For sure. And it's what do I find it so interesting in your story because you've done everything that everybody usually goes for, right? The taking extra vodka and drinking and trying
Oh,
to
yeah.
numb the pain.
Oh, yeah.
Yet
Hmm.
you just keep going. And like reading your book and seeing the story of you just had to show up for your kids, you had to show up for your husband, you had to show up for everybody else, but you weren't showing up for yourself, right?
Yeah.
If you could speak to the point in time that you decided, enough is enough, I need to show up for Tiffany. When
Mhm.
was that? If you bring us back to it.
Mm. I still have problems with that, I will admit.
Okay.
I know. And I don't think it's until recently that I even thought that it was okay to think of myself. I don't know. Maybe it's that whole generational thing that you learn of take care of everybody else. The woman is supposed to take care of everybody else, kind of like the man is supposed to work and make the money and go outside the home, and the woman is supposed to take care of the children and everything inside the home. And of course, I don't know, I still struggle with that, but I had a hip surgery about a year and a half ago, and that's when everything kind of fell apart. And I thought, okay, I have to take care of Tiff. I mean, I didn't have any other option. I
Mm,
couldn't even move. I couldn't even get out of bed. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. So I had to rely on a lot of other people. And that was hard because I'm very, very independent,
mm,
and I started reading your book as well. And I know that's how you were, I've got to work. I've got to do this. I've got to I have to maintain my job
mm.
and the status of that and kids and a wife and all of that.
Yeah. We don't make time exactly. And I think it's something
Right.
we all learn. And for the listeners there, you probably can
Mhm.
identify with this as well. It
Yes.
takes time for us to be able to rebuild ourselves and saying, hey, I need to take care of me. And it's okay to take care of me without that shame and that guilt of saying, oh no, I'm being selfish with the time. But actually, by putting that oxygen mask first, we're actually able to be more present and help other people in a very big way. But I feel that our bodies, and I know you mentioned here as well about how our bodies keep a score. And I love the
Mhm.
work that I can't get his name right now. Anyway, the author did on the body keeps a score because
Oh,
it is
yes.
Van Zerbel.
Oh,
We'll find his name again.
I just
Anyway.
went blank too.
Oh, here, look, I actually get it. Oh, yeah, Dr. Van der Kolk. Basil der Kolk. Okay, Ryan, edit this part, but it goes
Yes.
again. Dr.
Yes.
Basil van der Kolk. Exactly.
Yes.
So I think it was a beautiful book as well for me. It was a lot really eye-opening. But how our
Mhm.
body keeps the score, every single thing
Mhm.
that we don't process, that we don't talk about, that we just
Mhm.
stuff it in, it memorizes, right? It stays
Yes.
in your nerves, it stays in your skin, it stays in the cells of our bodies feels it. It's that emotional part that it feels like our body needs to make us stop completely. So for you, not only having the loss of a loved one, then you had another loss of another loved one. It's
Mhm.
like one thing after the other, and your own
Mhm.
body, mind trying to cope with that.
Mhm.
Do you think that you just lived in denial then for that whole time? That part of grief. Do you think that's where you were, or do you feel if anybody was saying, "Oh, you're just grieving," how did you take
Mhm.
that?
No, I lived in denial, a complete denial. And then when my brother passed away, I think that was when everything also kind of just, that was kind of the end of the end because I thought I can't deal with this anymore. I mean, loss after loss after loss. That's kind of the straw that broke the camel's back too, when I thought, okay, I'm going to start drinking and numb. And, my kids had moved off and gone to college and we were empty nesters. And it was just kind of a collaboration of all of these things that I was not used to.
Mm,
And yeah, I lived in denial.
yeah.
Even when I started with the loss team like 7 years ago,
Okay.
still in denial. I mean, I was so there for everybody else
Mm,
that had just experienced a suicide loss, but I was never there for myself. It's crazy how you can do that.
yeah, because you're the strong one, right?
And exactly, you're there for everybody else, but never yourself, and in recent months, I have stepped away from that role to start taking care of myself.
And that's so important. Such
Yeah.
a brave move, and I know how
Yeah.
hard it is because
Oh, it was extremely hard to step away from that. Very, very hard because that's my life. That's my passion.
yeah,
And I thought, okay, I have to step away because I can't keep taking in everybody else's stuff and not taking care of mine.
yeah. And you shared that you had a hip surgery that didn't go well, right?
Right.
And
Right.
then can you actually describe the pain that you felt in your leg before even the
Mm,
diagnosis came around?
mm. Oh my goodness. Severe burning pain. And mine was in my foot. So it felt like the best way I could describe it to doctors, like I had stuck my foot under a boat motor, like, and it had mutilated it. So every time I looked at it, I thought that it should look like blood and guts and ligaments and tendons
Mm.
all just hanging out and bloody. No, completely normal, other than discoloration and like a real waxy look, like you had stretched the skin so
Mm.
tight that it was real waxy
Okay.
looking and just severe burning pain. I would get the hot burn, like the mornings, it's the hot burn. And then about 2 o'clock in the afternoon starts the cold burn, like the icy
Mm.
cold burn. It's so hard to explain. And then I'll have that throughout the evening. And then right before bed is the on fire, complete like agony burn.
Yeah.
And like my foot is sitting in an ant bed and ants are just biting it and someone's hammering nails into it. It's so bizarre.
Mm. So
I
overwhelming.
never even, it is, it's
Mm.
overwhelming. I never even knew this type of pain existed ever. I never, I mean, of course, why would I?
Yeah.
I'd never heard of anybody that had nerve pain. And you know how it is.
I
It's
know.
just,
And,
yeah,
and I think when I was reading your book and the doctors going to doctors and feel like you're the one that's
yeah,
having a problem because they're like, lady, everything seems fine. You're fine.
yeah,
And you're like, this is so painful. I can't
yeah,
explain to you more. How can I explain to you more? But to
yeah.
understand that a lot of doctors actually don't have that much understanding in pain. They haven't,
They
you know,
don't.
they don't. This is it. They have only a certain amount, depending on what country you're in. It'd be
Yes.
I can't say if it's a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, but how much actual time they understand in pain is kind of like brush off, let's go to the next thing. So it behooves them to stop and listen to the patients that are coming in there. They're not
Mhm.
making this up out of thin air. We're trying to
Yeah.
find words to describe how difficult it is. And that part of
Mhm.
not being believed, how did you, I know that in your book you were saying you should have gone and found another neurologist or
Mhm.
found another doctor in
Mhm.
the beginning of it. Is that something that for you, not only because you had the orthopedic, the surgery didn't go
Mhm.
well, he
Mhm.
referred you to
Mhm.
somebody else, but just
Mhm.
walk us through the listener that's there,
Mhm.
walk us through how it happened and what were you feeling during that time?
Mm. It was awful. I kept going back to the surgeon and saying something's not right. And he just said, I don't know what's wrong. Well, I thought I can't be the only one that has this kind of pain.
Mm.
So, the surgery was unsuccessful anyways. So it's really hard to get a stitch in when you have a hip surgery. It's a labral tear repair.
Mm.
So not only trying to recover from that surgery and then it didn't work, um, just trying to figure out where this pain came from. And then the neurologist said, no, it's your back. There's some nerve pinched in your back, and got an MRI and went to another orthopedic in Dallas who finally said, no, it's not your back. It's 1000% not your back. And you have classic complex regional pain syndrome. And I had gone to the pain doctor here who had also kind of diagnosed me, thought maybe it was it, but I mean, they just put you on pills and none of it helped. None
Yeah,
of it
you.
worked. And, funny thing
Mm.
is, recently I got this sore on my foot. And I don't know how. I don't know if I cut it or scraped it or what, but I mean, it started getting pretty bad, like it wouldn't heal. And so I thought, well, I'll go to a podiatrist. Maybe they'll know
Mm.
what complex regional pain syndrome is. Mm-mm. The lady did not have a clue. Not a clue. And she was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know why it won't heal, but she gave me some medicine and I keep putting, it's called like
Mm.
mole skin over it so it'll heal. But I mean, that's just another one of the things with this nerve
Mm.
issue is if you get a sore, it won't heal
Yeah.
and it becomes infected. And I walk and I walk and I walk and I walk. I walk so much. I walk 4 to 5 miles a day that I'm like, okay, I cannot have this sore on my foot. This has got to heal.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but even this doctor didn't know much about it. She was like, I've heard of it, but
Mm.
I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah. You feel like you
So,
have to educate everybody in it, you know.
yes. And I had to educate myself and just on the internet. I mean, I guess thank goodness we do have the internet now
Yeah. That's true.
because back when we didn't have the internet, I don't know what somebody would have done.
Yeah.
Pills, they would have taken pills.
Yeah. You were talking in your book, you talk about the gabapentin and lyric. I was just like, yeah, been there, done
Yeah.
that, gone through
Yeah.
all of this. It's like, it's
Yeah.
useless. It's useless.
It is completely useless.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I think it for each person is finding
Yeah.
how they
Oh
can
my
go
gosh.
through it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I felt for me, I went from one side to just like try everything, and then especially with the medication, I said, no, forget it. I'm gonna go through the other
Yeah.
side. And you talk
Yeah.
about chiropractor and how that helped you.
Yeah.
I know it's for me, it's one thing that's really helped me, but it's
Yeah.
a little bit of everything. I have
Yeah.
like this arsenal of
Yeah.
different treatments that I have to go to, but it
Yes.
is expensive.
Yes.
It's so
Oh,
expensive.
oh, it's so expensive. I had to replenish my cash flow
Mm.
after a while. And that's when I thought, okay, I'm done. I give up for just a little bit. I'm going to give up. I
Yeah.
mean, not give up, so to speak, but give up trying to, stop the pain. And that's kind of when my brain started wrapping itself around like, okay, we've got pain.
Mm.
Let's deal with this.
Yeah.
And little by little, it eased up a little bit,
Yeah. And
which
I
is the
feel,
brain is so powerful. It's the most intriguing organ in the body.
mm,
It is so powerful what it can do.
yeah. Yeah. To bring you back there with exactly that with the brain, do you feel that when you started acknowledging that you were probably living in denial and that your life, having to go through the grief and maybe accepting, you started releasing more and be able to handle the pain better, if for
Yes,
lack of a better word?
yes.
Yeah. Because I
Mm-hmm.
feel that that was
Mm-hmm.
for me my journey.
Hmm.
That's when I stopped, and it says whatever you resist persists.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was resisting the diagnose. I was resisting the fact that I was in pain. I was just like so upset about it, But when I was just like,
Yeah.
okay, how can I make a
Yeah.
way through this? And is that why you developed the RISE method as well?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Because I thought I've got to start doing something. And I knew that I needed to start healing from what happened with my parents. And I thought, okay, nobody could have wanted it more than I wanted it for myself.
Mhm.
And once I started healing, once I started, just sitting with what happened and feeling all of those emotions, the pain started to get just a little bit better. And I could wrap my head around getting through a day of pain.
Mhm.
Whereas before, I mean, it was just agony,
Yeah.
agony. But yes, you have to heal. You have to heal.
Yeah. Can you explain to us your RISE method, methodology?
Absolutely. Excuse me. Absolutely. So the R is reach out before you shut down.
Mhm.
And that's reach out to anybody, reach out to a friend, a mentor, a support group, anything that you're going through. There's so many support groups online. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a suicide loss. It can be any type of loss, any type of pain. There's so many support groups online or, reach out to somebody before you shut down, because once you shut down, it's you start isolating and that's very,
Mm.
very dangerous.
Yes.
And community will be your lifeline, I promise you. And I know that that was for me. Like when I found Amberly's community and people like you, I mean, that will be your lifeline because you figure out different things from different people. Like I've
Mm.
figured out things from your book that I'm like, okay, now I can put that in my little bag of
Tools.
tricks. So The I is ink it out, and that stands for journal. And I used to think that journaling was just for little girls and you'd write in your little diary or your journal. So that was profound for me, writing things because I needed to get my emotions out of my body onto paper.
Mm,
So the link between getting it out of your brain through your hand into writing is just amazing, and get some of those emotions out of your body. And
mm,
the S is sit with it. And I talked a little bit about this, just sit with those emotions. And most people will do anything not to feel. We numb,
mhm,
we scroll on our phones, we do anything not to feel. And sitting with those emotions, it's hard. And the E is embrace who you are now. I know I had a real fear of the future after this pain. I didn't know what my future looked like. I didn't know if I was going to be able to work a full-time job. So, you kind of have to embrace who you are now
yeah,
after the loss, after the grief, after the pain. And I think that helps you process better. And then the U is unlearn the lies. Our brain tells us so many lies that are just not true, especially after a suicide loss.
mm,
You got to unlearn all those lies. It's not your fault, things like that.
yeah,
Um, and then the P is protect your peace. And I know this one was huge for me, and just your surroundings, the people that you surround yourself.
mm,
Not everybody deserves access to your healing.
it's
And
true.
you have to surround yourself with people that are going to help you heal and help you get further along in your healing journey,
Mm,
and protect that peace. I
yeah,
still do to this day. I mean, I know my pain will ramp up if I know that I'm not protecting a peaceful state of mind and a peaceful atmosphere.
yeah. Absolutely. I think there's just so much value in what you're saying here, and people definitely need to follow you, follow your work, and get your book as well. But
I would love
what
it.
for me, Tiffany, in this part of protecting your peace and having your boundaries, it's so important. We feel that it's hard, like not necessarily hard, but even what people will think of us, and we're just pulling away from other people. But
Yeah.
people are not dealing with our pain.
Yeah, exactly.
They,
And that's true.
it's the layers. We have so many layers that nobody can see. Like, you look perfectly fine. I look perfectly fine. And so
Yeah.
many of the listeners look perfectly fine. But we never know what people are actually going through. The
Yeah.
loss of a loved one, loss of a
Yeah.
job, loss of a child, like all these different
Yeah.
things that they're just holding it together. So I always say, don't judge a book by its cover. Literally, don't judge a person by its cover.
Literally. Yes, I
Literally.
know. I know.
Because we don't know how much they're holding on, and
Hmm.
even to make it through the day, how hard it is to get up, how hard it is to go for the walk, how hard it is for us to start. Our baselines is completely different from other people, but yet we are making that choice of showing up. You're making that choice that through all that grief, through all that hurt, through all that pain, you're showing up stronger now and helping other people see a way
Hmm.
through their darkness, which I think is fantastic. And I see God working in your life and opening these doors so that others can feel
Hmm.
alive again, if that
Yeah.
makes sense,
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful job that you're doing.
Oh,
And
thank
that
you.
part of
You
the ink.
too.
Oh, thank you. But the
Ink it out.
journaling, ink it out.
Yeah.
And that's how
Yeah.
my book came about. It was my journals.
Yeah.
I
That's me
journaled.
too. I kind of accidentally journaled a whole book.
Exactly.
That's what I say. I started journaling and I wrote a whole book.
That's exactly
But
it.
I always say, don't waste your pain either. And I think for years I didn't understand that, but don't waste your pain. If you can let somebody know your story,
Mm,
how important that is, that they don't feel so alone.
exactly.
Don't waste the pain. Because I
Yeah.
think I did for a long time. I wasted it, and I didn't go deeper and help other people the way
Mm,
that I should have. And I stayed silent and I didn't share my story, and I should have. And that's why I'm so passionate about it now. I'm
yeah.
not going to waste this pain.
Yeah. Well, you're a force for good. You're
No,
definitely doing it the right way. So,
you too.
oh,
I'm
thank you.
blessed to have met you because you know exactly. how it is. I think last time I saw you too, I got really nauseous for some reason. If my pain ramps up, it just
Yeah.
makes me really sick to my
Hmm.
stomach, and
Yeah.
I have to just step away and use everything in my toolbox to try to get it under
Yeah.
control.
No, it's exactly with me the same
Yeah,
thing. So I completely relate, completely
yeah,
understand. It's bittersweet, right? Because we wish nobody
exactly,
had this pain.
exactly.
Or, but at the same time, we've like, oh, you're still showing up
Yeah,
regardless with the pain. And I think that's why it inspires me so much. That's why I love Amberley's community as well, because
me
in
too.
different ways, people have different types of pain. She still
Yeah,
shows up and showing, I can do this. Of course, we need to take it how is best for us as well, right? Not overdo
yeah,
because that's our pattern. And that's my
yeah,
pattern to always like go ahead, do too much. And then my body's like, oh yeah, boom,
yeah.
I'm back in bed.
I'll show you
It's like, who's
exactly.
boss? Who's boss?
Exactly.
But
And we have to
have
listen to our bodies.
we do.
I never did that. For so
Yeah.
many years, I didn't even know that that was an option.
Yeah. Yes, it was a disconnect. For me, it's literally hand on heart, Michelle, what do I need right now?
Yeah,
How can I
yeah,
slow down? What is it that you're trying to tell me? Or if I overdo and you kind of know, and it's bringing that awareness because as we build that
yeah.
awareness, we kind of are able to preempt it from happening. But I really
Mhm.
don't want, especially the audience, to feel that fear of, oh my God, the pain is going to increase. Like for instance,
Yeah,
wind can cause pain and all those things. At the beginning, I didn't want to leave the house because like I opened the door and boof, you have wind target like triggered a pain and you're just pretty much knees in so much
yeah,
pain. But by releasing and just saying, no, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy being out. So I have scarf, do the things that you can.
yeah,
Use a scarf, go outside, protect yourself. And
yeah,
if it's warmer, then the wind's not bothering me. So it's kind of very different, but you just learn those things. And for yourself, I think it's fantastic that even though you had a hip surgery and it didn't go well, you're still trying to do your walks every single day,
hmm
whatever you can, and
hmm
just keep that movement, which helps your
hmm
body to flow, isn't it?
It does. It really does. It helps my mind, especially, and my body. And it took me a long time to be able to wear a shoe because, like you, I couldn't stand the touch of
Mm-hmm.
anything on my foot. So it took me a lot of like desensitization process to get a shoe on. And I can still only wear one kind of shoe. It's so
Mm.
funny. I tried shoes on the other day or like before the event, and I mean, my foot just went, shoo.
You
It's
know?
crazy. So it's something in my brain that loops around that says, okay, nope, can't wear this shoe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
And that's okay. And it is
yeah,
about us learning about ourselves more
we
and
do.
showing
And
up.
everyone's different. Yeah, everyone's different. And sometimes the medication works for some people. And so I
Mm.
hate to say that medication doesn't work. It just didn't work for me
Yeah, it
and
didn't
my
work for me.
brain. It made me feel really strange.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. For me, I literally went to the doctor's office and said, you know what? I don't want to kill myself right now. So just take me out of these things. And he's
Yeah.
like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not.
No, not
Just-
really. Yeah. And so sometimes it does work for people if it
Yeah.
handles the pain, but it never touched my pain and it just made me feel weird,
Yeah, that's it.
mentally
Yeah.
weird, you
Yeah.
know? Hmm.
No, that's exactly it. I was literally walking around feeling like a zombie. I wasn't barely walking, but just moving around. And I
Yeah.
had, like you said, my pain started in my face and then it moved all over my body. So, well, the worst part was when my hands hot got this, basically, I feel like it was glass. I was on touching glass the whole time. It's just this awful, awful pain. And I did
Mm,
the nerve conduct studies and they said, look, your nerves seem to be fine,
mm.
but, could be this, that, or the other. I'm like, God,
Mine too.
you know, you
Yeah.
just, I,
Mine too. They were like, everything's fine. And I'm like, what? How
how?
could that be? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I have weird sensations of water dripping down my leg, cold water
Mm.
dripping down my leg. Like it's weird. I'm always trying to wipe it off. And I'm like, that must be part of this. It's so strange. So
Mhm.
yeah, like the glass on your hands.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll feel it in my hands. Not often, but sometimes I'm like, oh, that's interesting feeling.
And then usually for me, I feel it's when I'm feeling under stress or something big is happening, then it like exacerbates the whole body. So I'm okay, keep
Yeah.
yourself calm,
Yeah.
breathing, meditation, all those other
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
But Tiffany, we're coming to the end of this time and we could talk for hours because we have
Oh,
so
we
much to
could.
talk, so much. You're
We
so
could. And we
amazing.
will again soon.
Oh, we will, definitely. But please tell us what's the best way people can get in touch with you?
So you can go to my Instagram. It's at Tiffany Childers, and I kind of spell my name a little bit different. It's Tiffany Childers, Childers. You can find me on Facebook as well, and I have a whole separate Facebook I just started for just my keynote speaking and author, and
Oh, cool.
LinkedIn. And you can buy my book, The Rise Back, on Amazon.
Awesome. I'll include all of that in the show notes, and
Thank you.
we're so grateful to have you here. If you have one last thing to leave with the audience, what would it be?
Oh gosh, I guess when your world is falling apart, you can remain the victim or you can find solutions.
Mm.
Small, consistent actions will help bring you to the point where you want to be, but you have to be diligent and you have to find your rise back.
Yes. Wow. Beautifully said. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so very much. May God
Thank
bless and keep
you.
you. And then please, guys, I want to put it all in the show notes. Do follow Tiffany and see everything that's coming up. Get her book as well. And until next time, may God bless and keep you. Bye for now.
Thank you. What an honor.
This was the Michele Roys Show.